Hello folks! Today we have a 2v2 Polaris plus Aquarion game with season MVP Meisterlampe. You'll see sled versus amphibian action, creative ways to synergize Polaris and Aquarion working together, strategic uses of Moonis to spread ice, create blockades, and deny resources. There are some serious high-level plays from the best players in the league in this. Okay, let's see how the top player in the league turns a losing position in the mid-game into victory. Hello, I'm eSpark. I'm the leader of the Arctic Wolves and on the Huskies, and with me today is Meisterlampe.
Hi everyone, I'm Meisterlampe. I'm a pro player on the Arctic Wolves, and today we're going to be reviewing a game on Archipelago. Okay.
I haven't watched it, by the way, so I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it was a pretty close game. I think they had an advantage in the mid game, but with some good plays, we managed to turn it around.
Nice. Okay, let's start from the beginning. What was the setup?
Yeah, so the map we played on was large archipelago, 324 tiles, and we decided to do Aquarion Polaris mirror matchup.
So each side had an Aquarion, each side had a Polaris.
Yeah, exactly.
And these are all pro players, like very skilled people. Yeah.
Now let's see how the game starts off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually was playing as Polaris in the east here. After missing the village on turn 0,
Why did you go Double Mooni?
we decide that it's best to train a Mooni, because if you make a warrior on turn 0 and you can capture in turn 2, you have 10 stars in turn 3, which allows you to place 2 outposts. But because we're unable to capture on turn 2, we could only get up to 9 stars, so we couldn't get that earlier workshop that you can get with a warrior on turn 0.
Okay, since you couldn't reach the village, that's why you went Double Mooni and not a warrior. Okay.
Yeah, fortunately, everyone is finding their cities here.
Yes. Yep, all the players are picking up those villages.
Yeah, we can also see like a very big amount of aqua farms for the Aquarion in the south here. And yeah, both Aquarions opening with fishing, pretty standard stuff. But the main thing that is really strong is the aquaculture tech. The atolls or the trade stations, and also the aqua farms are like, they are going to make your economy go crazy and can also help you get a crab quite early on.
Yeah.
But what's also important to note is, while that implies that every tile is flooded in the beginning of the game, if Polaris freezes a tile, the tile automatically becomes unflooded. It's much easier to freeze than to flood tiles.
But Aquarion is really optimal on flooded tiles, like with the bubbles and things.
Yeah, that's also why Polaris is like pretty strong against Aquarion. Okay, well, let's carry on now. In turn 4, I go for a double outpost, which like instantly boosts my economy by a lot.
I don't see any explorers yet. Everybody just getting workshops. It makes sense for Polaris because they don't have fishing.
Yeah, but I believe...
Let's see, are we going to get an explorer yet? There's one. Okay.
Yeah, there's the first explorer, but it's Polaris explorer. And Polaris explorers cannot go on water.
No, they cannot.
So yeah, that was not very optimal. But here's another interesting interaction. As you can see, this city right here got connected, even though there is no outpost next to the city.
Oh, the outpost connected through the city on the 2 outposts on either side.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, this the Polaris outposts can also go like through cities. They kind of look for the shortest path. They can go either through ice or through cities, and here the shortest path actually was through the city. Well,
is this works like port connections, right?
Well, ports like it a little less to go through cities. That's kind of the easiest way to describe it.
Port connections are so complicated. We actually have a video on port connections. I'll put a link to it in the description. Yeah. Okay, back to the game.
Yeah. I'm getting pretty close here to their Aquarion.
Yeah, getting close to meeting.
We don't even know that they are right there.
You don't see them,
But
yeah.
I make a Mooni anyways because we're hoping that there is something to find. At least we finally found a city over here. And also the other objective is to get sledding, because battle sleds are like the power unit for Polaris.
Yes.
Yeah, we also go for a similar play. We take the lighthouse, and then thanks to the atoll, we get the level 3 upgrade.
Oh, and you get an explorer. Is it going to be helpful? Let's see. Get a meeting stars, and okay, 2. All right.
Yeah, double meet.
Nice.
That's really good.
Yeah.
And so we get 3 amphibians. Yeah, so we find this ruin over here. I actually decided to research sledding before moving with other Mooni.
Why? Why do you get the sledding tech now?
Yeah, no, because we wanted to see the starfish. And I believe we had already decided where to move for Mooni. Yeah, we didn't want to reveal any extra fog, because they could step on this ruin over here maybe. And if they step on the ruin and break ice, this Mooni doesn't have a tile to move on. So we actually need the second Mooni around if a unit steps on the ruin and breaks ice.
Were you planning to get the starfish next turn? Do you have the stars for that to get the tech?
No, that was not the intention.
Okay. So it wasn't that you were going for the starfish, you just needed a safe place for the Mooni.
Yeah.
Okay.
Polar warfare can situationally be useful if you get like a lot of starfish. But the ice fortress is completely useless. Don't buy these things.
Don't. Oh, waterways. So your teammate with Aquarion gets bubbles by moving onto the flooded tiles. Nice. Oh, but then they get frozen. Ha! Oh.
So they also now know about us being there, and also decide to freeze Aquarion on the city here.
Okay. So, their Aquarion moved onto that ruin and broke the ice. But you anticipated that, right?
Yeah, so basically what I was talking about earlier, if there wasn't the second Mooni, there would be no way for this Mooni to freeze the mermaid.
Right.
Because all the adjacent tiles are water, and the Mooni cannot move on water.
Right.
So yeah, we use the second Mooni to freeze the mermaid, and then use the sled to deal some damage. So here, I decide to go for a block because I was thinking that if I don't do that, the Mooni might die because like neither Wars, my teammate, or I have vision on what Aquarion has behind.
You don't know if they have their own amphibians with bubbles who can get in there. Yeah.
I also take fishing here because that gives me a bunch of easy upgrades.
What does your teammate get from the ruin? Oh. Org
it's
from
not
the ruin.
bad.
Org. And then an explorer.
I think, we were hoping on a lighthouse here. Because if you look at Aquarion's capital, 2 fruits and an aqua farm gets us to, gives us 4 population, but we actually need 5 population.
Yeah, you need 1 more. But now you have vision and you can see their crab. And you can try to prepare a counter.
Now here we go for an explorer, but that's pretty unfortunate that the explorer goes back here and not to the west. Yeah, so a lot of people here would just kill the mermaid on the ruin. But what we do instead is we keep both units alive. And so now their Aquarion cannot use these tiles.
Yeah. Yes. Those units are frozen. They're taking up population spots. And Aquarion can't move other units onto those tiles. They are occupied. Yeah. So your teammate, Aquarion. Oh, they kill the Mooni. And break ice and climbing.
Yeah, here we're getting climbing to snipe another Mooni.
Now you kill those units.
Yeah, and as you can see, again, we're building up this kind of barrier in front of the Mooni. So on this one tile is the battle sled.
Mm-hmm.
The tile next to it, on the tiles next to it, there are these 2 frozen units. So it's not really attackable by these 2 amphibians that otherwise would be in range of the Mooni.
So you're blocking not only with your units, but you're using their frozen units to block.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm also noticing that like the Moonies are kind of getting into like some scarier positions, and if you end up losing all your Moonies, it can be really bad.
Yeah, because the Moonies make ice and your sleds need the ice for mobility.
But you can also see this very cool play here. Let's look at that again.
Mm-hmm.
So there is this ocean ruin over here. What we end up doing is we move the Mooni next to the ruin to freeze the ice and to freeze the ruin. And if you look at Aquarion's turn, we don't have marine life research, which allows moving onto ocean tiles.
Okay.
So we move onto the ice, onto the frozen ruin, and then break the ice afterwards.
Oh.
Yeah, because Aquarion gets these lost cities from ocean.
Yes. Oh, yes, the lost cities. So the amphibian would not be able to reach that because they don't have the deep water movement. But since it was ice, they could move onto the ice, then break the ice, and they're still there. And then they can claim it and get a lost city. Oh my gosh!
And we also test the interaction. If you take a ruin on ice, you don't get the lost city. You only get it if the ice on the ruin is broken.
If you had taken it while it was ice, you would not have gotten a lost city. And you want another city connection to get the crab.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh! Very cool. I like that.
And we already know that we want to get the crab in the next.
So you're
turn,
planning
so
for it. You're preparing. Yeah.
so we're already getting that city upgrade over there.
Once you put an atoll, right? Oh, would the atoll connect already? The one that's already there?
Yeah, the atoll already would connect.
Nice.
That's like a very, very well placed atoll because it connects all cities.
That's great. That atoll's gonna do a lot of work for you.
Yeah, but now their Polaris is striking back, killing a large part of our force and also getting a veteran sled.
Yeah.
And this crab is really scary over there.
The crab is going north for the other Aquarion. Huh.
Yeah, like the problem with the crabs is if the crab moves like close to Mooni, it just gets frozen, and the only thing it really serves as is like a unit that can tank 6 hits, but does no retaliation damage and then just dies.
Yeah, a frozen crab is not good, but it could siege that other Polaris city that it's next to. We'll see.
Yeah, that's what we're really scared of here. So let's see what actually ends up happening. Yeah, we know, thanks to
the vision. You have some vision.
the vision of my
Yes.
teammate, that there are a bunch of amphibians waiting over here.
Yep.
So we had to pull back our Moonies.
Yeah.
Because,
And those amphibians all have bubbles, so they can move farther. Yep.
Yeah, because there's also a swordsman.
Yeah.
The swordsmate over here.
Sword with a
And-
bubble.
Yeah, that one is really scary because, like, we could move the Moonies forward here, go for like some kind of freeze play. But obviously, this Mooni can only move 1 tile because it's on land, and so it would be possible to move west here, and then this Mooni could move next to the swordsmate and freeze that one. Well, I guess it could already do that, but it would just end up dying to Moonies. And we're kind of lacking with support units, right? There are only like a few sleds left, and we also have to deal with this crab over here somehow.
Yeah,
So
if you move the
decision
Mooni
was-
up, it would die, and you'd lose a lot of
so we
support.
kind of have to pull back here a little and and look at this.
Ooh! Look at that. So many aqua farms. Oh my goodness. How many crabs
that's
is that?
That's what it was like before.
Wow.
Yeah, if you didn't know yet, if you claim a lost city, you also get a bunch of resources.
That's right.
So you can almost always get enough resources to pop a crab in those cities. You cannot see it here, but what also ends up happening if you claim a lost city is that all the ocean tiles next to it get replaced by water tiles. And if one of these tiles was frozen, it would also get replaced by water tiles.
Oh. Oh yeah, it's all shallow water now around it and not deep water. Oh.
Yeah, so what was pretty annoying for us over here is that we're actually unable to kill that Mooni over here because we went a little too aggressive with the amphibians in the previous turn. So that's kind of a problem here.
Yeah, that Mooni over there is gonna continue to freeze. Did you upgrade that new city and do you get your crab? Yes.
Yeah.
Well, not a crab, a frog, a toad.
Yeah, it's a toad when you are playing with a skin, while it's a crab if you're not.
Yeah, it's a toad.
And over here, marine life, now, like that crab is heading straight to our aquarium.
And they have a second crab moving up into the middle of the map.
Yeah, now we decide we can't keep that bubbled crab over there. Because if that crab gets to keep its bubble, it can move 3 tiles again, and it could end up in quite a problematic position for us.
Yeah. So you attack to take away
also,
its
I believe
bubble.
there was another thing that happened when that crab moved. Okay. Yeah, so what we're also doing here is like stacking kills on our sleds.
Yeah, they're close to getting a veteran, and then they could promote and heal. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like really crucial to make use of these extra hit points.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of fighting happening over here. We're using like everything we have.
And
I think this was a small mistake to move next to the crab.
Are you planning to get a second crab in that lost city?
Yeah, for sure. I believe we get it this turn already.
You have 20 stars. Yeah, you can afford it. There it is. Oh, that's a toad, I should say. A toad, not a crab.
But we're losing like a lot of amphibians over here, right? Like all these sleds getting a bunch of kills. Their Polaris already got the Gate of Power now. And now there's also this crab over here. And they managed to snipe both Moonies here, which was quite bad.
And the crab got its bubble back by moving onto the flooded tile.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this looks to be problematic for you or Polaris.
Yeah, but we're getting a bunch of kills back over here, but we somehow have to deal with this crab right next to the city.
Yes. How many hit points does it have now? 21?
So now it's a lot easier to kill, but we don't have any Moonies next to the city because we only had like this one Mooni left after 2 Moonies got sniped. But that's also why it's very crucial for us to keep that Mooni alive now. So we're using 3 sleds to frontline for it. Yeah, and we also got the Gate of Power now. And
so are you gonna get a Gaami, a super unit?
Yeah, get a Gaami over here.
So 2 toads ganging up on that crab.
Yeah, and we also make another toad over here.
But those sleds, they are putting pressure. Oh, and you get it, they're sieged. Sieged with a veteran? Wait a minute.
You can also see the same play over here again, right? The sled already has 3 kills, so we hit the toad once
And
and
then
then
heal.
promoted, so it didn't lose any HP.
There, you
But
move
now-
your moonies in. Oh, look at
Yeah,
that.
and we also go for the siege.
Oh, okay. Zoom in. Show us that again. Do a close up. Yeah. Let's see that again. So you create ice and make a path for the sleds to siege.
Yeah, gradually getting the necessary vision for everything. And also this Mooni defense line on the ice, so it can this sled defense line on the ice, so it can't easily be broken. And keeps the Moonies behind safe. Like that's also like an important part of this turn.
Yeah. You're sieging them and they are sieging you.
Yeah, that's kind of what's happening. Yeah, over here, this city over here cannot be saved. We actually sacrifice amphibian
Oh.
to attack this swords made
Uh-oh. I saw a peace. Whoa.
Yeah,
Time for a peace treaties.
Exactly. So like we were thinking, so we actually want to go for diplomacy to build an embassy to boost Polaris.
Income. Ah. So
Yeah,
you could-
embassies also are like one of the strongest economy techs in the game.
Yeah. So you're planning to get diplomacy for embassy.
And another nice part is that this defender over here is going to be a lot more annoying to kill for Polaris than other units would.
Even though it's frozen and won't retaliate, it still has more defense and harder to kill. Yeah. So each side is sieging and taking a city, but they are taking one of your level 2 cities and you're taking one of their level 4 cities.
Yeah, so not the best trade for
Yeah.
them.
So you have a veteran sled in there sieging. They don't have enough units to unsiege.
Yeah, let's see what we end up doing here. Just advancing a little bit and moving the Moonies forward, threaten more areas.
So you're gonna try to take that city back with crabs? How are you gonna?
Yeah, it's very hard to advance here. We are just trying to like defend against the
Just trying
against
to
like this
defend.
onslaught of Moonies, right? Like we have to kill as many as we can, so that not everything keeps getting frozen, right? And like there are still too many Moonies left.
They have 4 Moonies. Just
Yeah,
yeah.
just too many to take them all out in a single turn.
And I saw you got the embassy. I can see that Vorse now has
No,
vision on all the
we only
capitals.
We only got diplomacy, and the reason for that
Ah.
actually is, if you look at this, so we are planning an attack with Polaris onto the Aquarion capital.
Okay.
We also want to know which unit they train in that capital in the next turn, so we can play around it.
Yeah, diplomacy gives you vision on their capital, so you can see what units
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
And like while we needed the remaining stars this turn to make more units, or otherwise our defense would collapse.
Okay. So no embassy this turn. You got units instead.
Yeah, but we figured we're going to build an embassy next turn no matter what. So we already get the tag for the extra vision.
Yeah.
And it also gives you the information, right? Like once you get diplomacy, you can also click onto the players, see who they have met so far. For example, we know that their Polaris has not met our Polaris yet. And we can also see that they don't have a peace treaty, for example. Yeah, the crab kind of getting slaughtered over there.
Your toads are getting frozen. All the units. Yeah.
And you can see they went for a shark here, right? Like,
Ooh, there is a shark in the atoll, and they got the lighthouse, and they find a ruin also.
yeah, and they use like a weak amphibian to siege to deny the income, right? Like the city would give like 4 stars per turn.
Yeah.
This unit is worth a lot less than that.
But they sacrifice it to deny you the income. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you freeze their crab with your Mooni.
Yeah. And we also do the same trick again, right? Like this sled over here, clear the 3 kills,
Yeah.
move next to the crab, and then promote it afterwards.
And you
But
do you freeze
we
the
have, like-
crab? It does, right? It
yeah,
gets
we
frozen.
freeze the crab.
Yeah.
But there's also this one problem. We don't have any tiles to attack this crab from. Because there's no ice over here. They broke the ice there. We don't have any Moonis that can reach there. So we cannot actually deal damage to the crab. And we also cannot reach the Aquarion capital. Another thing, right? Like, look at this group of units over here. Swordsmith, Warrior, and full HP crab.
Yeah.
And it's just
freeze them
single
all.
Mooni to freeze all of them.
You freeze all those big, strong units. The swordsmaid and the crab frozen.
Yeah, we're just hitting what we can with these sleds. They're dealing so much damage in this turn.
Well, and it's so fun to attack a frozen unit and not take any retaliation. That's just like, I don't know. Excellent.
Yeah, and also...
Ooh, polarism.
research.
Polarism helps them move faster. Nice. And you're still not considering picking up all those starfish, because there's like, what, 4 starfish in your terrain?
Yeah, well, the problem is, if you go for all the starfish, it slows your units down. Like, if you're taking starfish, you cannot attack in the same turn.
Yeah. Oh, man. This is really, like, almost symmetrical. Like, their Polaris is moving in on your Aquarion, and your Polaris is moving in on their Aquarion. It's really interesting.
Yeah, they're going really aggressive over there, right? Like, almost reaching our capital over there already. It's kind of a race, whoever manages to kill the other Aquarion faster.
So I have a feeling this is just going to turn into a Polaris 1v1 eventually.
Yeah, that might be the case.
There's a shark. Yeah.
Yeah, and they just barely have enough to take out this Mooni that would otherwise be able to freeze the capital.
You siege again. They'll be able to unsiege unless you can freeze some of those units.
Yeah, but now the crab is getting taken out.
You have 2 Gaamis. Their Polaris doesn't have any.
Yeah, their Polaris does not have any Gaamis right now, especially because they used the Gate of Power in a city that was not leveled up yet. So while that got them like in the short term, it got them a lot of stars. In the long term, it makes it much harder to pop the first giant. They also do not have researched any economy technologies.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as you can see, like over here, right, like harvesting the fish only costs 2 stars. But instead they chose to make extra outposts. To get the level 3 upgrade.
So what's going on with your Aquarion teammate? They look like they're in trouble.
Yeah, over here, we choose to go for a pretty interesting defense. And like, it seems really odd how those amphibians are placed over there.
Okay.
But what we are afraid of is, so we don't want this Mooni to be able to move 2 tiles next to the capital.
Right.
From Aquarion. And so right now, there's this amphibian on this ice tile. But if they kill it with a sled that is on land right now, because the sled came from land, they don't get the escape trait after killing. Like that's a really interesting interaction. If you move your sled on ice and then attack,
it can bounce away.
You get the escape, but if you attack from land onto ice, you don't get
get to escape. And the key is you just want to protect that capital. You do not want to allow the Mooni to create ice so that the sleds can reach it. That's the whole goal.
Yeah, and we also go for archery.
Oh.
Because Yeah, we were kind of forced to move the crab away because of this rider over here that could kill this amphibian and then bounce away. And then they would be able to move the Mooni in to freeze the crab behind that city. And they actually make the mistake.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so they did either they didn't know about that interaction or
But
didn't
they
notice
move
that
there
that's
and
the
then they
case.
can't bounce away. They're stuck. Yeah.
Yeah, so now the Mooni cannot go over here. Like,
Cannot.
even killing this amphibian over here only is possible if they take climbing.
Yeah. So instead, they just target that city instead of going for the capital. Oh, but they do make a little bit of ice there.
Yeah, but they do not freeze the capital and also cannot attack the archer now.
Yeah. All right, what happens down here in the south?
Um,
Oh, they also
yeah,
go for strategy and diplomacy.
Yeah, but they start off with a star ruin. But they were unable to kill this Mooni. And yeah, now they also go for an embassy
Yeah.
and peace treaty.
Same as
but
you.
obviously a lot later.
Yeah. You
And
moved
now-
your Gaami in. Look at that.
Yeah, we can go really aggressive now. And we also pick up roads.
Ooh, you're gonna go for Ice
Oh.
Bank? That'll get you a lot of money.
Yeah, that was one of the ideas. But the other idea is you can place a road
Okay.
below like your skate units on land. And that way they get the full movement.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to be able to see that in action. Yeah.
Whoa! You siege with a Mooni? The
Yeah, like-
capital?
Look at this before.
Yeah?
And then after the road was placed, we can move 2 tiles.
Whoa! Siege the capital and freeze the shark and amphibian next to it. But you could only
and
do
it
it by
also allows
placing the
us-
road to allow it to reach. Wow.
Yeah, and it also allows us to move the battle sets in
Yeah.
to attack these units.
You can
behind.
attack and also block, right? Let's see.
Like, the block is not possible because
Oh.
this crab over here could kill the block. So the siege won't hold. but
Okay.
Obviously denies the income and renders the shark and amphibian behind useless.
Oh, that's fun. I like the use of the road there.
Yeah, and over here, another interesting play.
Okay.
So, combined with our Aquarion's vision, we were able to see somewhat what their Polaris has over there.
Okay. You saw that there was a
So-
Mooni there.
Yeah, so we make this play, and now I'll go back to replay
Yeah.
fog. So, first of all, we want to get the siege, but we don't want their Polaris
Yeah, to reach.
um,
You don't want their Polaris to, but their Mooni can freeze your Gaami, right?
Yeah, exactly, but that is why we're sniping the Mooni. And then afterwards, we also use another sled to move in and break the ice.
Oh.
The remaining sleds that are in range of the city cannot reach it anymore.
Oh, show that Mooni snipe again. And let's see that. Let's see that. So there wasn't a
Yeah.
path. You make the path of ice with your Gaami, which allows that one sled to kill the Mooni and retreat and break the ice? Oh, the other sled breaks the ice. Whoa!
You cannot break
No,
ice
no, no, on the same turn.
with
Yeah.
the unit that attacked in that turn.
But you can move and then break the ice. Wow.
And another thing that happened here, we make use of the road play once again.
Okay.
With this sled over here to just kill an extra unit.
That's creative. I haven't seen that use of roads like that. That's cool. All
Yeah,
right.
now over here,
Mhm.
we're going for like a defensive play, right? Like pulling back
Yeah.
a little.
Just staying alive. Using the archers. Whoa, what happened? The 2 Polaris made bees? No.
After this turn, they also decided that they want to resign the game because their attack over here kind of has slowed down.
Yeah.
Because we now kind of established like these defensive archers behind the
Mhm.
city, So it's like really hard to push into this landmass. Yeah, and like the other important thing obviously is like their Aquarion is just falling apart.
Yeah.
Like there are not enough units left to hold this in any way, and their economy is a lot weaker.
Yeah. And this is where they resign?
Yeah, right here.
Okay.
They figured that they probably cannot win it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So it seems like when you pit Polaris versus Aquarion, Polaris does a lot better.
Yeah. If you look at the end of the game, right, like how many flooded tiles are remaining, like almost the entire map is frozen now. So the bubbles don't work as well anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that also like reduces the effectiveness of amphibians, because like they can move without movement penalties through flooded tiles, but they can't do the same through regular land tiles. And Polaris obviously also has like really strong late game options, especially if you're thinking about Polarism, and then trade with the Ice Bank, which gets you a ton of income, but also tech into Knights, which gets 6 movement with Polarism on ice, which is absolutely broken. And there are other interesting interactions like Cloaks, also get 4 movement on ice with Polarism.
Wow. Okay. Well, this was, really interesting game. Thank you so much for talking me through it.
Yeah, no problem. It was a very interesting game, and I think there are a bunch of things one can take away from this game.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. It helps us a lot. Drop us a comment. We reply to everyone. If you want to be part of our league and learn to play better, join our Discord. A link to the Discord server is in the description. Take care. See you on the next one.